So the muscles getting stretched has more potential to stimulate the muscle
than
and lose weight,
and to stimulate the muscle.
Right.
So for example, when I do this is a concentric contraction.
Right. Okay.
But when I put the weight down slowly, this is the eccentric contraction, because the muscle is getting stretched with the weight, and that actually stimulates muscles to be stronger more than even the concentric. So when we do a weight exercise, you have to do both. You see people doing this and that down quickly. That doesn't work.
Right.
You have to use both motions to do the exercises.
In a similar manner, is it?
In a nearly, sometimes you have slow going up fast and going down slowly. So you have various methods where the eccentric part is longer.
Okay.
But then when you do exercises like that, you need a much longer recovery time.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing I've noticed about these workouts is that they look a lot like yoga to me. Like when that lady was
especially
doing
the isometric.
The isometric, the planks and all. I mean, in yoga-based exercises, what they do is they teach the muscles to act in groups together. We saw that plank nicely when you stay, the stomach muscle and the back muscle. Now, if you take for back pain, that's very the balance for your back is your stomach muscle and the muscles on the back of your back.
Yeah.
And what we're training those two muscles is to work together. This muscle is contracting and this muscle is contracting to hold the back. And that's the best way to treat. Now, when you do that, you're only training the muscle in front.
Right.
And it causes imbalances and injuries.
Right.
So is that recommended for a completely inexperienced person?
The plank is an exercise anybody can
So
do.
once you train yourself.
You can start off by holding on for about 10 seconds. And then you build up. When you're very advanced, you can go up to holding for about a minute.
Wow. That's insane. That's interesting. Anyways, on that note, we'll be right back with more of The Good Doctor. But make sure you do visit us on our Facebook page on www.facebook.com/Good Morning Sri Lanka. Make sure you click the like button and stand the chance to win merchandise by MTV. And I'm really lying because we don't have any merchandise. No, I'm not lying. We do. But we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Welcome back to Good Morning Sri Lanka. You're still with me, Anu, Jason, and Dr. Handu Vijayasinghe. We are discussing health, fitness, and lifestyle.
Lifestyle, being healthy.
Yes, being healthy.
Which is painful to hear that we have to go like the hard way. But I guess working out the hard way also grants a great satisfaction to your body at the same time.
Yeah.
So I guess it improves your mentality. Like, hey, I'm doing it the hard way. That way, nothing can stop me now, I guess.
But like you said, is it also important to know that day-to-day activities are giving you more space to lose weight and lose calories and be healthy rather than just going into the gym? I mean, what kind of activities maybe you recommend, like walking up the stairs, taking the stairs instead of the elevator?
Yeah.
You know, those things, are they really important like we're traditionally taught?
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about losing weight, increasing your activity is very important.
Okay.
Doing exercise is one very important component, and along with that, be more active at work, perhaps using the stairs, as you said, walking a bit more. Because what we find is that the lifestyles are much more sedentary, and we tend to spend about more than 8 hours sitting per day.
Sure.
Yeah.
And what they say is, even at home, try and reduce the number of things that you do sitting.
Right.
Try and increase the number of things that you do moving around and standing.
Yeah, because I've recently found out that they started this new thing. It's called a standus, where you don't have a chair, you just stand and you work from your computer. Because people tend to into column when they.
And it's quite interesting that the doctor mentioned at the beginning of the show that we should sit straight. Is that important?
Oh no, we here at Good Morning Sri Lanka, we have lost our capability of sitting straight now. But all right, so weight training. We were speaking about this in bits and pieces. What is weight training and how important is it?
Weight training is quite important, and based on the fitness guidelines given for normal people. Weight training is included in, and what they say is to do full body exercises to exercise your legs.
Right.
I mean, people neglect the legs when they do weight
Sri Lanka,
training.
that's one thing. Sorry,
Yes.
no offense to anyone, but I've noticed this a lot, that Sri Lankans tend to work on the upper body instead of the legs or anything.
Why do they do that? I mean, how did you notice that?
I stare at people from a distance. But yeah, you were saying.
Doing the upper body, one thing is you can see it. And it's easier to do than doing lower body exercises. So I mean, you find, but actually the lower body exercises give the bigger benefit, because your biggest muscles are your glutes or the back muscles in the back, and the muscles in your leg. They are much bigger than any of your arm muscles, and by stimulating them, you will get much benefit. The benefits from weight training is that the stronger muscles one thing, stronger muscles support your joints and give less joint pains. Other thing is when you have big muscles, it tends to reduce the sugar levels, and it gives you a higher metabolic rate. You burn more calories even when you sit. With that, there are a lot of advantages like that of weight training.
Right. Another quick question from our Facebook page. Just a quick reminder, if you do have any questions for the good doctor, all you got to do is send us a private message on our Facebook page. That's www.facebook.com/Good Morning Sri Lanka. The question is, should I first do cardiovascular training or resistance training?
Okay. When you're doing a workout, they say you just do a small warm-up, then do the weight weight training, resistance training, and then you do your cardiovascular workout after that. Because what happens is, if you are tired, because you need a lot of focus and intensity into your resistance training, you will lose that focus. But then again, some people prefer to get the cardiovascular part out of the way before they do the resistance training. But the recommendation is to do the resistance part first and the cardiovascular part next.
Doctor, for all the laymen out there, I'm sorry to disturb you in that question, but can you define what a cardiovascular training and a resistance training is, and the difference between those two?
Okay, cardiovascular training means anything like walking, running, cycling, swimming. What those exercises do is they increase your heart rate and how your heart pumps blood all over your body. So we have different types. The moderate intensity ones of cardiovascular exercise would be walking. Whereas the high intensity one would be jogging or running. So like that. Again, they say if you play a singles tennis game, that's a higher intensity, but a doubles is a lower intensity. So that is cardiovascular. Then weight training, I think we showed the video earlier, and it shows anything where you use resistance. So it can be weights, it can be barbells, dumbbells, it can be resistance band, it can be just using your own body. In that, what you're doing is you're stimulating muscles. So I think these come from CDC guidelines of fitness, where you have to do cardiovascular and weight training both to get a maximum health benefit.
Do we do them together?
You can do them together, or you can do it separately.
We first start from cardiovascular training and then get into resistance.
No, I think I should mention the guidelines.
Please.
This is very important for everybody.
So everyone listening in, pay attention. For the good doctor will let us know what the guidelines are.
So this CDC guideline, it's a Center of Disease Control. It's an American guideline. It's released in 2008, and it gives the minimum amount of exercise that you need to reduce mortality. That means reduce your chance of early dying. And they say that doing it properly reduces your chances of dying early by at least 30%.
We want to know this.
Yes.
Go ahead, doctor.
So, because what they say is
long.
Everybody wants to live long, Jason. Yes, doctor.
So they say that doing the proper program reduces things like heart disease, diabetes, hypertension, reduces mental stress as this. So there's a lot of benefits from doing this. And they say the minimum recommendation mentions to do moderate intensity cardiovascular exercise. At least 1 hour, 2.5 hours a week.
2.5 hours a week. All right.
So that's about 150 minutes. So it's about 20 minutes a day if you break it down. So that is the minimum. And along with that, they say do 2 days of resistance training or weight training.
Per week?
2 days.
2 days per week.
2 days per week. This is the minimum. 2 days a week, where you do exercises for your legs, your stomach, your upper body, the whole body. So this is the minimum recommendation. 150 minutes, 2.5 hours of moderate intensity cardiovascular exercise and 2 days of weight training.
Interesting.
Let's say we just inspired someone watching right now. What sort of equipment would they need to get started?
So if they say either 2.5 hours of moderate intensity. If you're running, it will be 1 hour 50 minutes a week. So the equipment you don't need anything to do the cardiovascular. Because walking or running you can do anywhere or on a treadmill. The other things you can use is a cycle, exercise cycle. The pool you can use, swimming laps, that also comes under cardiovascular. Golf, so various sports will also fall under cardiovascular.
Doesn't just a quick question, doesn't swimming come under resistance as well, because you're pretty much your body is resisting against water?
There is a bit of resistance element, but it's put on the cardiovascular because it stimulates the blood flow and makes the heart higher. And what they put under resistance is specifically strengthening exercises for the muscles.
Alright, like the ones that we saw
on the video.
How important is it to have a real good routine? Because like if you look at the internet, for example, there's this one that's sweeping everyone away called the P90X workout, and that's like some insane, like intense workouts. You know, they start off, they say, look, you're going to work out for this first month, it's going to be really tough, but the second month it's going to be even more tough.
Is that a 3-month thing?
Yeah, and you work out really hard. You just start off completely, but you don't build, you know, like you said, you don't go by the slow road, but you just start off really hardcore.
P90X is pretty advanced,
right.
And I would say someone who has not been doing training, that's not something to start off with.
Oh.
It's someone with a good gym experience, at least 1 to 2 years, 3 years of doing the normal routines properly, where that involves a lot of bounding, jumping, pretty intense stuff, and you need these agility ladders and all these various things. So I would just go with a basic routine.
Right.
I mean, as we mentioned earlier, they say 2.5 hours of moderate training. So you start with things like walking or jogging, and then along with that start weight training with normal exercises, and you do that and then once you build up a good fitness level, then you can go on to more of the advanced stuff.
Alright, if I was a vegan, would it be good to work out? Just on a purely vegan diet? Yeah.
Interesting.
A vegan diet.
There's no problem at all.
Really?
Yes, there's no problem. So what you would do is you can get the adequate amount of protein that you need from that. And I mean, you can read up on the internet about the various diet and the plans, but there's no issue.
Right, interesting.
We have another question about protein shakes.
Yes, that's something I don't like them. They taste really badly.
I don't know. I haven't tried any.
Okay.
So what is this? What is it with protein shakes? Why? I know personally a lot of people who gym and go work out at gyms. They don't have dinner, but they have protein shakes. What is it with it?
Yeah. What is that?
I mean, it gives you the proteins for your body.
Okay.
And
but why can't you eat something instead?
You can eat something instead.
All right.
I mean, there is nothing proven to say that a protein shake is better than food.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but it all depends. If you are using it as a meal replacement, and you are going to skip dinner and take a protein shake, you might save a bit of calories on it. That is one. And then if your diet is less on proteins, you can. But you have to remember that there's only a certain amount of proteins the body can absorb.
Okay.
I mean, just taking just taking a huge amount of proteins doesn't end up being a huge amount of proteins absorbed into your body.
Right.
And even more important is actually after a workout that you replace calories.
Right.
Because what happens is after the workout you have depleted your calories, and taking carbohydrates immediately after a workout is actually very important. But the proper shakes and all should have all those constituted inside.
Okay, but like you said, it's not a replacement for food.
You can use it. You can
use it, but then it's not really like necessary to have just protein shakes and not eat.
I mean, we call it a meal replacement. You can use some things like a meal replacement, but provided now when you take a meal, you have all the various vitamins, the nutritions and all. Provided it has all that, you can use it as a meal replacement. But it's not. You can't use it if not.
All right.
As a meal
but you don't recommend it to be had during every meal of the day, right?
No, not during every meal of the day. But I mean, as I said earlier, it's a normal healthy diet which is the recommendation.
Right.
A shake and all you can take based on whatever, but then you have to check what you need, and based on whatever is less, you can take it.
Right.
Okay.
On that note, we're going to a quick commercial break, but make sure if you missed out any segments on Good Morning Sri Lanka, you can search us on YouTube. That's www.youtube.com/MTV Sports LK. We'll be right back after this commercial break.